Okay, guys, what's going on? Sorry that I'm a little bit late once again. Just maneuvering things around with OBS, just trying to get live. I updated a bunch of things and now it's just, it just took a little while to get going today. So sorry about that, but we're kicking off today with a Lil Peep Type Beat. I'm going to show you guys how I made this beat. I'm going to show you what it sounds like. I'm going to show you how I get these sounds to sound this specific way, going into the drums, how to sample a guitar, how to get the bass notes the way you want them, and all of that good stuff. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce the beat, and then let's get right into this thing, guys. All right, so that's basically what the core elements of the beat sound like. So what I'm gonna be really showing today is okay, how do I go into gross beat? How do I make a guitar sample just unique to me? I ripped this one, or not really ripped it, but I had it in a sample pack. I just have this loop. So how do I make it sound unique? How do I make it my own? How do I make sure that even if it's even if it's a loop that they don't want credit for, how do I make it if it's royalty free? How do I make it mine? How do I make it more unique? How do I make it the sound that I want? And that's really the bulk of what this should be when you look at this. So I have this guitar sample. If I play it with no effects, that's what it sounds like. So a little bit dry, definitely a bit nostalgic, but let's see. We'll go into one, and then we'll play it again. So this is what it sounds like with the effects. So a little bit more chill, right? Versus this. So the way that we achieved this is first going into the different EQs. So the first EQ that I did, I just brought this in here and yeah, just really drag down the spots I didn't like, cut off the higher frequencies. And so when you're doing this, typically what I do is you can use your mouse to just go that. If you just use your mouse wheel to extend it, or otherwise you can do that, or you can just edit the bandwidth like that. Okay, and then I just go in, find noises that sound bad, and drag it down. And that's basically that's how you kind of can go in and clean your sound up to make it sound a little bit better. Next, I did gross beat, and what I did, instead of just doing the full time mix, I just wanted to make sure that there was extra notes in here. So it gives that reverse effect, But if I go down to 25%, 26%, it makes it sound like it has extra notes. And that was kind of unique sounding to me, so I kept it going, and then raised a little bit more of the lower mids that I wanted, got rid of some of the clicks and pops that were in the gross beat from the top end, and then we added it into Destructor, and we just used the I think this is just the heavy chorus one. And so Destructor is a free plugin that you can get from FL Studio if you have the most updated one. Adds a lot of character to it, And then I added some reverb, just a reverb. You can just use fruity reverb as well, like just the typical setting. And if you're gonna do that with fruity reverb, just to kind of like give you an idea, like I wanted to recreate it here, just go to my percentage, right? So I have copy value, just do that, make it 25. Want to like recreate it, I'd get rid of the dries, get the same effect without having to spend top dollar, you know? And all it's there for is to breathe life into it. You know, it's just to breathe life into like how this thing sounds, um, make it sound unique. Um, but you know, to kind of go into the philosophy of that, like why you want to do that for a Lil Peep Type Beat, I mean, all of this stuff is just obviously like surrounded around guitars. You need to find yourself a good sample, like some places to look, or like Looperman, or like if you have like a Lander subscription already and you're like looking to like beef up your sample game, they have like something they just started with their sample packs, and then there's also TrackLib. They have all their stuff, Arcade. I mean, the list goes on and on. There's ways to find free royalty-free loops, but unless you want to just play it yourself, you know, unless you're down like that with the guitar, you can do that as well. Or you can like MIDI it up with like you know like Contact. There's all kinds of free other guitar plugins. I've done it in a couple of other videos. Um, but next is like really like going in and making sure your drums like hit really hard and making sure that they're kind of like still bouncy, but like also just giving off that like Lil Peep kind of vibe. So like the drums just by themselves sound like this. And so what that is, like the way that I'm doing this, right? So like my like idea is that I want to have basically the bounce of the kicks going like this, like just boom, 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 boom. Like basically that is the standard pattern that I have throughout all of this. And it just like feeds into the next one, you know, and so on and so forth. So like I mean like if you're just clicking in the pattern, if I'm like listening like that, and then I like beef it up right here to get it like more bounce at the end. Just using the hi-hats so you can follow along. Right? So when we're making this, the idea is to just follow along with this. Like so like if you can follow this pattern with your kicks, I think it's gonna do you like a lot of good. So what this pattern does is just like creates a good bounce for the beat already, and that's usually what I start with. I usually just go kicks and 808s or like 808s first and then just layer the kicks and then go into my hi-hats, which is this. And with my Little Peep kind of like standard procedure that I have with this is just using a lot of controlled rolls at the half step mark. So that half step will get you that sound, like that kind of sound. And like usually like that kind of sound is like just totally all in Lil Peep beats. Like when the roll is at like that 110 to 120 to 130 range, it like just hits like in a nice slow way so that you can get those like emo flows in, you know. And then like the another trick, like really like I do this in a lot of my beats, but like really emphasizing that like up and down motion with your velocity, like you can see here. So you can see I just clicked up, down, up, down, up, down, and then applied my rolls. Um, the reason you do this, so it's like if you ever listen to the song Gym Class by Lil Peep, it's like totally like inspired off of that like total like dun 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 dun, like it's like really emphasized in all of his beats. You can go and listen to them. It's like having that velocity jump really pushes like okay, this is how like he's gonna come in with his flow, and it's just like the like hi-hats are just kind of like that. Now with my snare, I did something interesting. So I layered it with a rim shot, and added like a little bounce to it to get more pace going with it. Because it is a little bit of a slower BPM, but like layering a rim and like putting little like background noises in there can really go a long way when you're like just trying to have filler space or different stuff like that. It makes the beat feel like it's faster to the listener, so it doesn't feel so like drawn out and slow motion, you know. So it's like the flows can still hit. And another technique that I applied with this is like I just needed this snare to sound like fuller, you know. So it sounds like really full right now, but if I did, you know, if I just got rid of these, it's pretty empty. But down together, very full. You know, it's getting that full range of the like the spectrum on like the sounds. And the way I do this is like my thickening sound. So I like find like a sound that goes well with like the sounds I'm trying to accent, and then like put it at a lower velocity. So it just makes it sound like a fuller thing instead of like having to layer multiple like snares and claps together. I just like doing this because it's like a little bit quicker of a technique. And typically with the snare pattern, you want to have one of these like little breakdowns in it. So it's like as the like roll comes in to this. So if I go back up to this, so it's like as the roll, the longer roll comes into this, it just makes it like the sound, like if that makes sense. So like just to play it together with the kick. So it's like from here. That kind of sound just adds like a different level of like layers and like how it's gonna sound so dope and different stuff like that. Um, so keeping that like just the pace going well. You add a crash in, obviously, just to like always like at least for what I like to do, I like to have a crash there. And that particular kind of crash is like perfect for these kind of beats. So like you can like go like one, you can add delays to it just to make it sound even more like vibey and like chill. And then I added also an open hat that just hits on like every offbeat. Um, and the reason I do that is just to like add like a little bit like more room into the mix. Uh, of like drums and making it sound not so repetitive with the guitar, because the guitar is like repetitive. It's the same loop throughout the song, but the way you can make it sound different is like, hey, how can I change up the drums and make everything just kind of like flow together? Um, and then 808s just follow the bass notes of the guitar. Just pulled the like just drove out the sample from here, making sure that it is hitting it hard, and then just putting a little compressor on it, making sure it hits at the -3 range. Just raising my sub and my bass. Just like really like having it cut through the mix with the kicks. Open a little space for him, you know? So when you do that, like when you put a little gap like that, it's like just gives the room for the artist to really like accentuate what they're about to say and kind of just come through correct. And then as I like progress through the verse, you just take things out, you know, like leaving room for the artist to kind of just get in their bag and do their thing. And you know, standard procedure for me really: 16 bars for the hook, 24 bars for the verse, 16 bars for the second hook, and just a little outro, like a little 8-bar outro, a little 8-bar intro. And you know, it's a full 2 minutes 22 seconds on the beat. I've kind of like went in and explained some things with the EQ and mastering and different stuff like that, but like the big effects is like just changing your effects can really like, instead of using the ones that were just baked into the sample, can really go a long way because you can make it sound so unique, you know. Yeah, but like just getting uniqueness with the guitar is really what we're after in this one. Um, Using soft clipper on your kicker can really push it through. I like pushing it like at the lower threshold and just heavy on the post. So it's like it maintains its like typical sound that it had beforehand. So it's like on the kick, just go here. So maintaining basically that same sound but just getting a little bit more punch to it, making it sound more aggressive. And then just with my EQs, I just typically do this like phone effect, if you will, like not phone effect, but like just putting one end of the spectrum here and then the other spectrum here, so it does like doesn't conflict with the sounds and forces it into like one frequency range. And then just panning the drums left or right, whichever way it needs to go, and there you have it. That's my Lil Peep Type beat, and I'll show you the little rim pattern too. So with the rim shot, I just add like a little bit more bounce to it, like little like extra filler notes here and there. You can barely hear it in the sound, you know, just to give it that extra bounce. And that's the beat. That's all I got for you guys today. Make sure you guys are leaving a like and comment on the video, you know, like this says. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe button, and noti bell just to make sure I can, you know, grow the channel, get this thing going. Appreciate everybody for tuning in today, and, you know, peace, God bless, have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys later. All right.